To all, good night to all. How y'all doing? Welcome to Dane for Entrepreneurs. Aries, you want to start this off? And I'll get into the cliffhanger.
As we know, we can be anywhere, but we decide to come into here, dating for entrepreneurs. So just let's. I'm doing it. I'm getting ready to do it. I've been doing it, but I'm going to share it. Let's try to ping maybe 5 or 10 people in who we know will draw good context and good clarity for whatever it is that we're going to be discussing. But at the end of the day, you don't have to only follow the moderators. You can also follow the people who are here or who are going to come and add value to the conversation. So without further ado, I am Aries, but just a couple of fun fact rules about this room. It's a safe space for everybody. You can speak your perspective, talk your shit, but we just like everybody to understand that perspectives are not facts. It's just someone's experience. So we like it to stay within 60 seconds or less when you are taking off and landing your plane. So if you do hear air traffic control, or if you hear one of the beautiful or hilarious sound bites that Pilar has graciously pulled for this, it's not to be rude or disrespectful. We're just trying to get the process going and the flow going of the conversation so that way it doesn't be stagnant. But that being said, turn it back over to you, Pills. Thank you so much for having the room and having another round of conversation.
Definitely. So, with that being said, I am Pilar. I represent a premium streetwear brand with our own modern, unique designs. The mission for the brand is to highlight pillars in the community and positive influences. With that being said, the conversation is definitely grown conversation. We're here to get some comprehension behind our conversations. I did leave the group with a cliffhanger last night, which was so it had me thinking. It really had me thinking all day. And the cliffhanger was a lot of women, men, when they get into these relationships, they're always playing defense. I know we all know sports, we know basketball, we know football and stuff like that. So you know what the job of the defense is to avoid the other team from scoring the touchdown or the goal or whatever the case may be. So a lot of times we get into these relationships and we're playing defense. Basically, we're trying to avoid anything that happened to us before happening again. So in turn, we don't go into these relationships playing offense, initiating and going into these relationships, going wholeheartedly, going hard. Because a lot of the times what happened is we're like, I'm not going hard for this person because I did that before and I got hurt or some kind of situation where you got burned out the situation. And it's like we go into these new relationships guarded and playing defense. But why are we not going into these relationships playing offense where we're giving it our all? Regardless of the fact, because my philosophy on it is remain solid even if the other person don't. Meaning you're doing whatever you're supposed to do, you know, going into the relationship, being the best version of yourself for that person, you know, and it's just crazy how we go into these relationships playing defense. But that was a cliffhanger that I left, and it just had me thinking all day because it's like, damn. To me, I feel like people should be going into relationships giving it all. A lot of people call it like what they call it when you oh my god, what they call it when you go so hard in a relationship, no matter how you when you first meet somebody. What do they call that, Aries? Oh my god.
Obsessed?
No, when people go into these relationships and they go so hard for somebody
Codependent.
hopeless
Oh,
romantic or
hopeless
something. Yeah,
romantic. Okay.
they call it hopeless romantic. But to me, that's like I wish I met a woman. I never met one yet that came into a relationship hopeless romantic because to me that's not hopeless romantic. To me, that's you're showing me and giving me the best version of you. You get what I'm saying? And I'm gonna leave it like that. I'm gonna open it up to everybody. What's going on, y'all?
I love that.
I caught some nice clips off of that. Yo. So what y'all think about that? What I just said?
And just for clarity, you saying that the question is people go into relationships on defense. Why are they not going into a relationship essentially on offense, right?
Yep, absolutely, and that goes for men and women. So that question go to both.
And you've never met or never had a relationship where they've not come on or entered it on guard or on defense.
To me, it's like basically every relationship you get into is like, nah, I gotta, I gotta make sure I gotta, I can't, it's like a time limit on everything to make sure that I'm that person, or because you don't want to give your all because you could been burnt before doing these things, and you're like, nah, I gotta make sure. But imagine how is that fair to me that you gave your all to the wrong person, and I could be that right person in front of you, and you're playing defense on me. You get what I'm saying? Why do I have to fight through that? Go ahead.
Just to
So we
sorry. Um just yeah, you go ahead, Nika.
No, I was just gonna say, so I mean, at some point, like we've all been burnt. I mean, unless you're in a a happy marriage for hundreds of years, we've all been burnt at some point. So everyone is gonna go into a situation making sure they don't repeat the same actions that they did previously. I mean, I would consider that a bit of intelligence. If someone shoots you once, you're not gonna hand them a gun or go around them again and expect them not to shoot you again. So for me, it's just intelligence. It's like, you're avoiding certain things.
Mm. Anybody else want to
I was
share?
gonna
Go ahead.
yeah. I'm sorry. I was gonna say, and that's why there's this importance of taking time after you finish a relationship. I've only actually been where I've gone from one relationship straight into another. One time, but usually I like to take my time and take space after I finish a relationship, so you can work through those stuff. You understand? Because you don't want to approach the next relationship. Of course, it's obviously like what Nika was saying. You live and you learn, and you kind of, know what to pay attention to or look out for. But ultimately, if you decide to, if you meet someone that you want to go there with, yeah, I wouldn't. If I'm guarded, if I'm too guarded, then I'm like, I look at me, it's like, okay, I'm not ready. I'm just not ready.
Mm.
I agree. I think we should definitely, I think that's one of the downfalls of most of us is that we're not taking that, not me per se, but, just in general speaking, we're not taking that time to be alone and, you know, find ourselves or heal from the past situation before we move to the next situation. So that's the reason why a lot of people are on guard because, they just got out of a situation.
Totally. And just to kind of throw it out there, I was speaking to a friend or an acquaintance, whatever you want to say, and it blew my mind because I hadn't experienced her, and maybe this is maybe the type of people that you've encountered or what you're talking about, or effectively what we're all talking about. Um, her in a relationship when it comes to relationships and dating and men and stuff like that, and it blew my mind how she jumped from one relationship, experienced that, got hurt, and then bang into something else. She didn't even wait a day. Bang on the dating site, back into it, experience, and it's like she just didn't want to pull back and take time. I find that mind blowing. I just don't get that.
It's not mind
Don't
blown
get that
because
you're
my
running away from something.
it's not mind blown because my philosophy is you should cry all the way from your ex house to your new boo house. And y'all might not think that. We had this conversation where some
Wait,
people don't think that, but
That's
that's how I
crazy.
think. You feel me?
wait, wait. Give me
That's
context.
crazy.
Hills, give me context. What you wait?
Yeah,
Cry.
please.
yo,
He's going with the philosophy of
yo, listen.
to get over someone else, you got to replace them. Is
Listen,
that what you're
no,
saying?
no, it's not about replacing them. See, my philosophy is cry from your ex house to your new boo house because your ex didn't see you who you are and didn't appreciate who you are. If you know who you are, that you'll understand that statement. You feel me? If you know
But
what
what
you
if
bring to
it
the
wasn't the
table
case?
and what and what I always call it accolades. What accolades? What other things that you bring to the table that's not really, you know, talked about, that comes with you, then you wouldn't be worried about that. You'll understand that statement 100%. That's just my thought.
Just to throw in there, and that's me done. What if you finish a relationship and it's not about them not appreciating you? It's not about those things. It's just maybe you've grown apart or you're just moving in two different directions. So the end of the relationship is not always a case of, oh, this person hurt me. That's my point.
I'm I understand and I hear you 100%, but I never had one of those fairy tale relationships where we just split. Like we had that conversation, come to the table, and we like, yo, all right, this is not working. You got to go your way, and I got to go my. Most relationships I've been in is dealt with some infidelity. That's the reason why the split.
Toxic.
Yeah,
Toxic
or
as well.
toxic behavior, some
Right,
shit like
okay.
that. And I never went to the table and say, baby, I love you so much, but this relationship just ain't working and we going our separate ways. That's some fairy tale Netflix movies. You know what I'm
Not really.
saying?
And I wouldn't
Yeah,
say,
how y'all doing? I'm Franklin. This is my first time coming
Hi.
here, and I actually came back because I saw Pillar in here by himself. I said I got to come and help her out. So I just want to make sure that. But anyway, I understand you all are talking about dating and relationships, and I think that the challenge that a lot of us have in relationship, especially in the Black community, is helping establishing a safe place for each other to be able to talk without being judged.
I don't
Does that
think
make
that's where we
sense?
is at though, King. Thank
No,
you.
I
we
got you,
respect
man.
you.
Thank
Go
you,
ahead.
thank you. We appreciate you, but I don't think that's where we is at though.
Okay,
But
I'm
shout
sorry.
out to you. We got more people on the stage. Aries, you want to give them a little quick reset and we get started again?
Definitely. Thank you so much for that, Franklin, and everybody else that has contributed. Definitely want to welcome to the stage, Christine, Franklin, Sean, Locks, Andrea, Abel. Good to see you as always. And then down below, there's Shamika S. Special K. Good to see you, bro. And Kamaria. You can correct me when you get back on stage if you would like. But real quick, just want to say good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in this beautiful world. You can be anywhere, but you have chosen to come into this room that has been created and founded by our guy right there in the upper left corner, Pilar, which is Dating for Entrepreneurs. Tonight, we are having a conversation that was picked up from a cliffhanger from yesterday, but it is Men Talk, Women Listen. When typically what happens is that the men in these rooms have questions that need to be asked. And so Pilar was so gracious to go ahead and open up with a question about defense. Why is it if we're going into a relationship where it should be about love, growth, abundance, and just believing and trusting each other? What's the point of the defense? Why are you going on defense? What does it matter for you to be on defense? So in order for this conversation to be fruitful, as like all the other conversations, there's a couple of ground rules in here. First one is, listen, everybody is grown. We are adults, so we don't need to be policed. It's popcorn style where we just go ahead and share our own perspectives. Let's just be understanding and respectful of the fact that perspectives are just what they are. They're not facts. They're just somebody's opinion. Let's respect them. When that person is sharing their experience, their perspective, or what they want to know more about for clarity purposes, let's let them land their plane. So when they take off, you have 60 seconds, and then please land it within those 60 seconds or less. Less is always better. And then at the same time, this is a safe space. So whatever you have to say to share as it flows with the topic on hand, we always want you to know that you can share your perspective, far be it from whether you are going to be agreed upon or disagreed. We are always respectful in these spaces. That being said, you can follow the moderators, you can follow the founder of the room, Pilar, you can follow anybody who resonates or who connects with you and you agree with, because there's a litany of rooms in this clubhouse world. So back to the conversation at hand. And again, you are always welcome to have the conversation in the back channel, or you can go ahead and send us the question or response that you might want to add if you are just a little shy to be on one of these kind of platforms. That being said, it's popcorn style. I'll definitely turn it back over to the moderators, Coco, Miss, and as well as Pills. Do you have anything before we go back to the question at hand? Why is defense the first thing we go into when going into the relationship? I'm Aries and I am done speaking.
Anybody got anything they
Okay.
want to chime in? Go ahead, Franklin. You
Yeah,
understand now? You understand the
yeah,
question? All right, go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah, Pillar. I understand. I totally understand, which is why I came in and I said that the challenge is the reason why people are on defense is because we don't provide a safe space for each other. And so because we are taught um, to as adversaries, as a black man, you can't trust a black woman. As a black woman, you can't trust a black man. So you automatically think of each other as adversaries. And so it's challenging to come into a relationship and think and believe that that person is going to help you to feel safe. And so, therefore, because I don't feel safe, because I've already been trained that you're only good as a provider and protector, there's nothing else that you're good for. I don't see anything else good for you. And because I think as a black, see a black woman, she's a gold digger and she want me to get all my money. She gonna be my baby mama, drama, all this other stuff. You don't see anything good about her. You can call her a B or whatever you want to do. And so because of that, it's hard to even think about even coming to be a defense because you're already on defense because you don't trust the person that you're even dating out.
Love that, Franklin. Absolutely love that and agree.
I ain't jacking that because why? What are
Now,
you?
now,
What are you doing out on a date with somebody you don't trust and somebody you don't that you even think like that about?
We've
That's
been programmed to do that because of the infidelity, because of the toxic relationships, because of the toxic behavior. You
so.
understand?
So why would you be going out with that person? That you still ain't giving me no answer. You feel me?
so
All you
going.
telling me is about things that done happened before, or people that you done dealt with before. So now, are you gonna move forward? You get what I'm saying? Like that?
So because you're not listening, Pillar, because you're not understanding what her triggers are, because you're not providing a safe space for her to tell you, because you're thinking that you're punishing me from this other relationship, and which you're punishing her for not telling you what's going on and being honest with you. And now you think I'm some other chick, and as a result, you have infidelity because you don't trust her, because you don't think that she's safe, because you don't believe that you can get everything from one woman, which, oh, by the way, you can. It's just that you got to follow the process.
So I want to add to that. When you take someone out on a date, you don't know for sure that you're going to actually date this person. You are dating, you're collecting data, you're getting to know this person, you're having conversations, you're seeing how they interact with you, people around you, and so forth. So trust has to be established over time before people can really start to talk to you. And even then, you're still on defense because you don't know the person's intentions. People can say something and show you something else. And when I deal with men, actions are louder than words.
And
Go for it. Go for it, Chris.
that's just to say, and that's one of the reasons why I don't have many relationships or go on many dates or do all of that or have never in my lifetime because I don't want to be on defense. I just don't want to date like that.
Yeah, I think that one of the problems that we have in our relationships is that we have a lack of understanding of intimacy, and that so um, we mostly think of intimacy as just sex, and there are many forms of intimacy. And the challenge that I've seen is that there is a lack of reciprocation when someone is sharing something. And so, in an intimate relationship, when you're sharing, it has to be positive. And so, a lot of times, as we're arguing, which that is not intimacy, that's arguing. We don't understand that we're just sharing thoughts, and we have to keep it on track on what the person's actually sharing. And so, because this is the last thing, because we don't understand the importance of providing that safe space, for that person to share something within them, we end up missing out.
All right. With that being said, I want to switch gears, and I got a question because men talk, women listen. I got a question. So my question is, right? As you date, as women date, this is just a question that's been on my mind for a little while too. A lot of women, um, they won't let the guy that they dating meet their kids or whatever. You know, it takes maybe I think I went through this before, and a lot of women said like 6 months to a year before they'll let the new man that they're dating even meet their kids or even see their kids. So it was just a simple question of how could you lay down with a man or have sex with a man, but you putting barriers around that man meeting your kids. So that was just a question I wanted to ask.
I love that.
Oh, well, I'm saying, so I
I'm saying
would say,
ask the ladies, Franklin.
oh
Shit,
yeah,
yeah,
oh,
yeah,
I
yeah.
thought you said this was men talk and women listen. Now
Nah,
it's
nah, nah, nah. We ain't doing that. We
okay,
ain't doing that
okay,
though. All right. Yeah.
okay. Got you,
Yeah.
boss. Got you,
Got
boss.
you.
I'm
Got
coming.
you. Got you.
So I'll say this. When I've dated in the past when my daughter was younger, no, I wasn't willing to introduce anyone to her because I didn't know how long they were going to stay around for. I'm not going to keep parading men in and out arbitrarily just because I'm dating them and having them meet my daughter. That's not the that's not what I want her to see and what I want her to repeat later in her life. She can tell you and count on one hand how many people she's met, and she's 30. So that's not how I roll. And the other thing is, you don't know if this person is a pedophile. You don't know who this person is. A lot of kids get abused by their mother's boyfriends because they think they trust this man, and this man comes in and violates their children. So that's a big reason why women don't do that. And I'm sure there are other women on the stage that can agree with me.
But before y'all go and say anything else, I just want to say, what is more important than your personal self and your body? Your body is your temple, right? So you're giving your body to this person. That's all. I'm gonna leave it right there, and then y'all can finish off.
6 months to a year might be a bit extreme, but I would, it's definitely not at the beginning stages. But as for me personally, but as the dating period progresses, at some point within that, that's when I'll introduce my son, because that's also a part of me getting to know you as well. I want to see how you interact and how you are around him. You can talk until you're blue in the face. I got to see how you interact, and that for me. That's a part of that process of me selecting and just kind of seeing who you are. But I agree with Coco. There is some, you know, you can't just let any guy around your child. There's some serious people that play. Yeah, yeah.
So is it? Can I say something, Pillar? Is that okay?
Go ahead.
Is that okay? Okay. So the thing that I get again, I'm an intimacy consultant, so I've been doing this for quite some time, and so the thing that we have to look at is the importance of helping the woman feel safe. And if she doesn't feel comfortable about that, then you have to be okay with that, because your job is to help her to feel safe. When you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the basic foundation is food, water, shelter, and warmth, which most women can provide that. The next need that she has is to feel safe. And so regardless of what's going on, each day when you encounter that woman, you have to help her to feel safe. And if you're unable to do that on a consistent basis, then why should you be advanced to something that's emotionally connected to, like her children? Does that make sense? Keller, are you there?
I hear you, King. I hear you. I hear you. That's your belief. I
No,
respect
it's
it.
not
I respect it.
it's not to believe. It's just the process. Because when
Sorry, I
we look
missed that one. You want to quickly just repeat that, just to snap it in a nutshell for me, Franklin? Sorry.
yeah, so when we look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, again, the basic needs is food, water, shelter, and warmth. The next one is safety. The next one is feeling of belonging. The next one is esteem needs, and then the self-actualization. When you align those up with intimacy, cognitive intimacy, emotional intimacy, and sexual intimacy, all in that same order, when you have cognitive intimacy down at the bottom, helping her to feel safe, and you don't skip that, the next need is it will then be loving and belonging. You don't, because you haven't felt safe, you can't get into the belonging. You don't belong talking to the kids. You cannot skip. And the challenge is that problem is that women have allowed men to skip. And because they've allowed us to skip, we're being inconsistent in our relationship. And that's the process, helping her to feel safe, then
Agree.
helping her to feel safe, and then we go to loving and belonging. And the last part is, this is the last thing I need to do, is most men have to develop an emotional vocabulary. Because we have limited emotional vocabularies, it's hard for us to exchange on an emotional, intimate relationship.
Love
Out.
that.
Don't go
I,
on
I,
mute.
yeah, that,
Oh,
that was
I'm
beautiful, Franklin. You said
no,
everything.
no,
I loved
I'm
it.
here. What I'm saying is that that's the thing. And again, in an intimate relationship, it is sharing, and you have to. It's a level of commitment. Intimacy is a level of commitment, both positive. This is the definition, and I'm paraphrasing it right now, but it's positive, and it's a moment, it's cognitive interaction that one experiences with a partner. It's an experience.
Frank,
Yes.
Franklin, I have a question.
Yes.
You're an intimacy coach, and you
Right.
believe that men can't get all his needs from one woman, but a man should give all the woman her needs.
Oh, I didn't say a man cannot. I said a man can.
He can.
Can get all of his needs met from one woman. It's just that you don't believe that, and so a lot of men have other women.
It's
And
fear,
that's where the
Franklin.
distrust comes in, because now you're entering into toxic behavior.
Yeah,
But
it
but
starts
hold on,
off with
hold on. Let's be respectful though, because just because somebody is in polyamory doesn't mean that it's a toxic behavior.
No one said
Because
if
No, that's
you
a different
agree.
identity.
Well, that's completely different. I'm not talking
but
about polyamorous
but
relationships where you're all in agreement. We're talking about
true, but
infidelity, lying, cheating, being dishonest, and then
right,
expecting someone to be open to
but
you.
let's be fair. Let's be fair, and that was not the way he said what he said. He said because men can actually get what they
That's what
need
I
from
heard.
right. That's what you heard, but that's not what he said. So we took the general statement of him saying a man can get it from one woman, but there are some men out there who, like you said, Chris, everybody's on the same plane, and they know that they're dealing with multiple women at the same time. So
Why are you feeling like that
then
too, though, Aaron? Like, why are you
So
feeling like
no
so needy for defense?
no,
right.
it's
So
not need for
Nitpicking,
defense,
nitpicking.
but no, not
no,
nitpicking. Just listen. He said, okay, Franklin, what did you let's just hear what he just said. Nobody's defending, but
what I said
uh-huh.
is that a man
Mm-hmm.
can get all of his needs
Mm-hmm.
from one woman.
Exactly. So then Priscilla, you said, did you or did you not say it's toxic behavior that man goes into when he start doing all the dealing with more than one woman?
Yes, she did
Right,
say
with
that.
cheating.
Right. So
With
but when I'm
cheating.
right,
So
but see, but he's not saying cheating, but
no,
is he saying cheat?
I am
Right.
saying cheating. A man
Okay.
does not have to cheat. So let me help you out. A man does not have to cheat on a woman because he can get all of his needs met from that one woman. So, for example, we'll do this right here, moderator. can you write down 3 men in your life who has been faithful to one woman?
Absolutely. What's your point?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. Do you have 5?
I do.
I got
what-
5, 10, 15,
I got
20.
you right. The
I
list
don't
goes
It's
on.
about the
I
people
don't-
that you hang around and the
I
people
don't
that
believe
you
that,
growing
guys.
around. Come on,
I
you
don't
can't do
believe
that.
Me either.
All right, we're gonna leave that. We're gonna leave that. We're gonna leave that.
That's true.
All right. We're gonna leave that all right there.
Let's
We're
take
gonna
it.
leave that
Yeah, we
all
can take
right
it as
there and
true.
switch gears. We're gonna leave that all right there and switch gears.
Why?
So we're gonna leave
Why?
that all right there and switch gears, brother, because this is the
But
Dame
hold
for
on.
entrepreneurs and we're the moderators. That's why. Yeah, we're gonna
But
leave
even
that.
if that's true,
We're gonna what?
if it's true, do you act like them? That's the
Like
best
now we're
follow-up
gonna
question for
switch
that.
gears from it. We're gonna go into a different question. And leave it right
I
there.
was just asking for clarification. That was all.
Thank
Didn't mean
you.
to cause.
Yeah. All right. So with that being said, anybody else have a different question, or we're gonna go into a different question? Don't do that. I asked another
I was
question.
trying to see where that one was going.
It was going nowhere fast into a rabbit hole.
I mean, that's your opinion, but I think I was enjoying it. So I just wanted to see
Well,
where it was
it
going.
wasn't a rabbit hole. It's an area in which we decide not to actually talk about. It really is really.
But
asking you
conversations
take
are
a
to be
real
had
look
in,
and see.
in the right, spaces for that. This ain't the space for that right now at this point in time.
Okay, well, I thought you were asking questions about how do you help a man not feel judged with the woman, and then we just started talking about helping her to feel safe and the challenges that men have with helping women feel safe. And the other area is, here's the thing, helping a man feel safe. Because other than their mother and their grandmother, what other place do we know that is safe for a black man? Ladies?
Let me just say this, and because we'll move on per pills. And for me, I appreciate what you're saying, Franklin, and I just wanted to get clarity on that one part. So it wasn't a defending; it was just clarity based off of the definitive nature of what was said, and me knowing people that are in healthy relationships that are polyamorous. So when I heard toxicity with multiple people based off of what Franklin was saying, that's the part that I was just trying to get clarity on. Wasn't trying to derail or defend anybody. But I know people that are in very successful relationships that are poly, and there's nothing toxic about it. In fact, it's more healthy than somebody that's in a monogamous relationship. So that's the part that I heard, and I just wanted to so if my response or rebuttal made it seem like I was getting triggered or pushing a point, anybody that knows me on this app, that's not my stilo. I was just looking for clarity. So I land there and we can move as necessary.
Jamisha, what's going on? Good night, Queen. Sean Locks, what's happening? Jonna, what's going on? How y'all doing, residents? Y'all all right?
Good evening. I'm good. Just got to Ohio.
All right, shout out
Good
to you.
evening.
Good evening, Queen. How you doing? Jonna, you there? What's happening with you, Queen?
Good evening, everyone. It's okay. Been stressful lately, but I'm hanging on there. So
All right, good to know that. Stay strong. You know we here, baby. All right. So with that being said, anybody else have a
thank you, everyone.
question on the stage?
I believe whoever was speaking when I first arrived into the house, they were actually doing a great job. It was a guy, and I think that you were just on point. The intimacy coach, great job.
He's on a call, so he didn't hear you. Okay. Does anyone else want to ask a question? I mean, it was getting heated, but I guess we got some clarity, so that's good. Does anyone else want to ask a question, or is it only men asking a question? If it's only men, right now it's on Sean or Aries, I believe. Well, let's ping some people into the room and grow the room because we could definitely use some more perspectives in here. So don't be afraid. Push that button right at the bottom of your screen. Ping some people in, share the room in the hallway so that we can get on the algorithm and people can see us in the hallway.
Hello, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. Everybody gonna be quiet. Nobody got them questions. That's what's going on the stage. Y'all want to sit back? Y'all wanted to talk about that? Y'all could go talk about that. Y'all could go ahead and talk about it. If y'all want to step back and go talk
I
about
have a
that, go ahead.
question,
Go ahead.
Pilar.
Sit back and talk about it.
Hello.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead, Jamisha.
So what can entrepreneur women do to be more inviting, I guess I would say, to an entrepreneur man because of sometimes I believe that it can feel or seem, as if a power struggle because of the two strong people. So like for the men in the room, how and sometimes it's intimidating to men, and I know like, it's like really popular to just not care that, you're maybe men are like someone said it earlier, fear. That's why they want to have like multiple women because of fear, so it's like how can as a woman can, you said like with the male to create the trust and protection for a woman, what is in return for the man?
I think I can kind of answer that. Coming from I have like 5 or 6 different businesses I do. From trying to date, they never the opposite sex or whoever I'm dating, whether it be the same sex or opposite sex, they never realized. I had one person who realized that I needed to be taken away from my life and to be taken care of. Only one person has done that with me, and that's the girl who I date now. But she has a girlfriend now too. But they both take me out of my space and cater to me just as much as I cater to them. But no one else who I've dated along the way has that. Even when I'm out of town, oh, you talking to somebody else? Ain't nobody sleeping that long. Ain't no way you busy this long, and you looking like, aren't you busy? Don't you go to work and don't answer the phone when you working or when you're in the meeting? Like when I get done, I gotta jump on another business, and half the time when I'm working, I'm doing hair, I'm selling rose water, and I'm selling CBD, and I'm trying to set up something else for my artist at the end of it. So I'm constantly working, and no one gives that person who's always working a break.
And I'm starting to think two entrepreneurs together, can it really work?
I think it
Listen,
can because I work when she was studying for school, I would do my work on my computer and she would do her work on her computer, or
but
we would.
she's not an entrepreneur. It's a whole different mindset. You know what it's like to run a business. You're constantly
Well, she
switched
does
on.
have a. I'm sorry, just because you work doesn't mean you don't have a business. Maybe I should explain everything to you so you understand. But she does have a business. She sells
Okay.
candles. So she to work at and technically she helps other people. I guess it is kind of a business. She helps other people find jobs. That's what she does, and she sells candles. But she still finds time out in her busy day, even when she has to go home and write up stuff for the state, to find time for me and us to sit together while we do the both together. But no one wants to do that. They want the attention completely on them.
I'm still trying to figure out what do you guys think? Can two entrepreneurs really make it work?
I think I
Unless they
think I think two entrepreneurs is a power. That's big
well, this
power.
is
I
you would think that, but if unless if you because I've
You
run a
asked me a
business with
question.
oh
I'm
dear,
trying
she
to
made me
answer the
collect
question.
shit. Go ahead.
yeah, yeah. I think that's powerful. I think that's very powerful. I think that would work more than entrepreneur and a person, it rolls back to when I was talking about when you're having a conversation with someone, can you relate? Um, you can't really as an entrepreneur, it's really hard to relate somebody doing a 9 to 5 and seeing they self sticking to a 9 to 5. You know, a 9 to 5 can be a bridge to what it needs to be, but sticking to a 9 to 5 and not wanting to you know, expand into like a business and be an entrepreneur, I don't think that would work because you're thinking about building a legacy. Or for me, I know I'm thinking about building a legacy, where the name stands strong and in just doing other things. I know I just went off track, but my whole thing is two entrepreneurs, that's powerful. I feel they could build a empire. I don't see somebody having a 9 to 5, and somebody that's an entrepreneur having too many things in common. I think you need, and you want to bounce ideas from your partner, especially your partner. You want somebody that's going to be able to balance you out, as we always talk about balance in a relationship. I don't see how that will bring balance into the relationship, for lack of better words.
Definitely want to welcome to the stage Brittany, Andrea. See you down there. To me, I like the question. I'm gonna say yes. I think it can work, but it also comes to the idea of how comfortable you are. Because when you're an entrepreneur, you got to think that that dream is your baby and it's another relationship. I think it was Locke who was talking about, being on the go and doing all these different things. Are you comfortable that you might have to go a week or two without having that physical touch with that individual? But then at the same time, how how communicative are you about where you are and what you're doing as you are obtaining those goals? Because sometimes some people are just so headstrong, they're like, I don't have time to cater to that. And sometimes it's not even that they're looking for you to cater, they're just wanting to understand where you are so that way maybe they might not be able to understand what you're doing. You might be doing wigs, right? And they're working on, and they have a 9 to 5, and they're not necessarily needing you day in and day out. But if you're just so headstrong, tunnel vision that they feel locked out, then it's just as good as cheating because they don't feel included. They don't feel like they're part of the vision. They don't feel like they're part of that journey because they're on the outside looking in just like everybody else. Matter of fact, your business affiliates are more enticing to you than them from their perspective. So I think as long as you're always fully, aware of what you are giving off, and you can relate that to the person that matters to you, I think it can be successful because two 9 to 5 people who work 9 to 5 jobs that never do anything but work, they go home and go to sleep. They might not have any type of intimacy or any type of dream other than to just go to sleep, work, and do it all over again. So communication, I think, is going to be the key in that whole situation. I'm Aries and I'm done.
I couldn't agree with you more, Aries, because at the end of the day, when you're dealing with two entrepreneurs that are in two different industries that may be working opposite times, it becomes a problem. At the end of the day, we make time for what we want to make time for, but your business may be moving at one speed, this person's business is moving at another speed, and they are 10 toes in, all 10 fingers, hands, and
Thank you.
they're not giving you the attention you need. They're not spending the time with you because at that point, to me, you're of no value. They're chasing after their money, period, if that makes sense.
And then passion, I totally agree because you're just locked in. You know how it is. This is your baby, this is your dream, this is your vision. And you're just constantly tuned on, locked on. There's no 9 to 5. You don't switch off. You're constantly thinking about work. You're constantly thinking about something that you could be doing, what you should be doing. You're constantly opening up that laptop. And if you've got someone equally like that, then as much as there are benefits, and I agree with Pilar, you can bounce off each other. They understand the mindset. And that's where at one point I thought, yeah, I need someone like me. But then you have someone like you. I ran a business with my ex, and the passion died. It was killed. There was no passion. It was just, it was a sad, sad thing. And that made me think, can I be with on someone like me. And then I think, well, can I not be with someone like me because I need someone to have drive. I need someone to have a vision. I need to have. So it's a conundrum at the moment for me.
It really
I did.
takes
Go ahead, Coco. I was just gonna tap on what you said. Something that you said that really caught me and made me think about. Yeah, that does play a major factor. If they both entrepreneurs in the same field or some kind of field where they could work together in some kind of way, that does play a factor. Because if you're an entrepreneur and we doing two different things, yeah, I don't think that would work. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm in fashion, I could deal with a model, someone that's doing fashion, something to have to do with even if you even content creator because they could wear my clothes or something like that. But if you're doing like if you're an entrepreneur doing I don't know, but something off that doesn't have to do with fashion or whatever the case may be, I can see how that might not work because we might not want to talk about the same thing. So I could see that as well. When you said that, Coco, that made me think, hey, well, damn, I left that part out. You're right.
Yeah, you can end up living a life of two ships that are passing in the night and not spending time with each other, not seeing each other. And that can become stressful at some point. Um, unless maybe you guys start a business together. So you're grinding to the same goal and looking at the same picture, and you establish this is our start time, this is our end time. And if you're making money, then as you want to buy your time back, so now you have to start delegating stuff so the two of you can spend time together to nurture and grow your relationship. So it's different if you started a business together, unlike the two of you are in two different industries doing two different things. It's really difficult. It's difficult when you're married to someone that does a 9 to 5 like you, trying to make time for one another, do this, do that. You know, some of it is all a fairy tale, what you see on TV. That's not what married life is like. There are struggles, there is pain, there's joy, but you have to find the medium. You have to find the balance. You have to figure out your boundaries and then take it from there. And people have to communicate and establish, okay, this is what we want and this is what we're going to do, but we're not going to let anything derail us and just stand on that.
Thank you so much for that, Coco. And just wanted to just welcome to the stage Jay, Drea, Trisha. Good to see you all. Again, Laron, Jamisha, thank you so much for that question. Just wanted to let everybody chime in before we do a quick reset where it's Men Talk, Women Listen. The question is, can an entrepreneur actually have a successful? I'm sorry, Jamisha, do you mind just repeating the question again so I don't butcher it? Hey, Sheik, how you doing, love?
Hello, hey, Rome.
Jamisha, you there? I think the question was,
I think
can
what it was,
two
can two entrepreneurs, right?
yeah, can two entrepreneurs have a successful relationship?
Right, right. So that's the question. So it's popcorn style. Welcome, Sheik. Welcome, Trisha, Drea, Jay. The question on the table right now is, can two entrepreneurs be in a successful relationship? Why or why not?
I can chime in on that.
Absolutely. Go for it.
All right. I'll use myself as an example. I'm an entrepreneur. My husband, you would consider him more self-employed than entrepreneur because he has one business. I have multiple. But it all takes, I think it was Coco that said that communication. It takes that communication. It takes work. It's not easy. Can be done, but it's not easy. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of communication. Right now, he's in a whole nother country than I am. We have 2 kids together. I have one that is biological to me, and he has one that's biological to him. So we both parent both children together. And it's difficult at times because at times we have to parent over the phone via FaceTime and things like that. So it takes a lot of communication, and it also takes coming to an agreement that you're going to work because at times you may bump heads. There are some things that I'm more proficient in, and there are things that he's more proficient in. But understanding that we both control this situation and no one's thoughts and ideas are higher than the other. We both take into account what we both bring to the table. Um, it takes a lot of that, and it also takes a lot of sacrifice, because there's some things that I have to back up and be like, okay, I'm gonna take that L because for the benefit of us as a whole, as a family, I have to take that. And there's times that he has to take a nap. But again, that communication has to be there, and that understanding between both parties that they're going to work with. So it takes a lot of work, because sometimes you're not in the same time zone. Sometimes you're not even on the same continent or side of the planet. So it all depends. So yes, it is work, just like it is with any other relationship. It takes work, it takes communication, it takes sacrifice, and it also takes a lot of understanding. And I am complete.
So you can't say to them, wait until your father gets home?
Sometimes I can't say wait till your father gets home, but I can also say, don't let me get him on the line.
Right.
And it works just as well.
Thanks for that share. Anyone else want to chime in?
I was actually going to say kind of the same thing, but I'm totally in agreement with what she said, because I prefer to date an entrepreneur over dating someone who has a regular job. Because I think someone having a regular job would just be bothering me completely, honestly.
Looking sponsors.
You're right, Sean, because honestly, if you're an entrepreneur and you're dating someone that's 9 to 5, they get off at 5 o'clock. They're done with work. So they've got the rest of the evening to do whatever it is they want to do. If you're not available, that becomes an issue because, time is time and they want your time and you can't give it to them. So that becomes difficult as well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, everybody. Jamisha, I think she just probably took a phone call. Thank you so much for the perspective and that question. So that way we all can chime in. Can two entrepreneurs have a successful relationship? And I think the consensus is yes, as long as there's communication involved. But definitely want to welcome everybody back to the room who just jumped in, who joined us. This is Date for Entrepreneurs, which was founded by our guy in the upper left-hand corner next to the beautiful Miss Priscilla. Pilar. This room is a safe space where anybody can share their perspectives and their points of interest or any questions that they want clarity on. So we're just having an open conversation where the room today is titled Men Talk, Women Listen, when it's essentially men will ask questions for women and the women will go ahead and give us their perspective, understanding that perspective is not fact. It's just somebody's experience or what they see as from their own vantage point, which we always want to respect and allow everybody to have that. Part of the conversation flows only because we do run with a one mic policy where it could be popcorn style, but as adults, let's give everybody the opportunity to land their plane within 60 seconds or less. Less is always better. You can follow the moderators, you can follow people in the room, as there are a litany of rooms that always have alike or different conversations similar to this, but at the same time, you will be surprised what you see out here on the Clubhouse streets. That being said, I want to turn it back over to Pilar and the other moderators. I'm Aries and I'm complete.
All right. With that being said, anybody else have a question that's in the audience? This is Men Talk, Women Listen. We done flipped it up so that men can ask questions. Women can ask questions if you want as well too. LaRon, what's going on? I ain't hear you in 2 days, King. What's happening? Trisha, what's going on? Welcome to the stage. Welcome to the Clubhouse.
Yes.
Oh, you there? Okay. What's happening? I ain't hear you in 2 days, man. What's happening?
Yeah, what's going on, brothers? Good to be on here. So ladies, question for you. when do you like? What is I guess like in a relationship? Has there ever been a time where a man has done or said like one thing or something happened that you just said the relationship is done, it's over, and there's like no going back? Like, what was that instant that just said, I can't do this anymore?
I don't think, for me anyway, I don't think it's a particular incident. I think it's the camel that broke the back, if whatever that saying is, a
Sure.
run up of incidences, and it just so happens that that incident is making it a wrap.
But I mean,
What's the saying?
I guess okay, well thank you for that. But like I guess what I'm asking is like, has there sorry, let me reframe the question. Has there ever been a time where you're with your mate when he said something to you or he did something that just made you just want to just leave the relationship? I mean, if it was a culmination of things, I understand, but just that this one just burst that just said, I can't do this anymore and I'm out.
I would say no, because to me, that's just disposing of someone after saying one thing one time. As Priscilla said, it's a culmination of things. And as women, we listen to what men say. And if they repeat certain things, then we have to figure out what our exit strategy is and wonder why it is that we even started to date this person. So I don't know if any woman in this room has left on one statement. I wouldn't.
Off of one statement, there's certain statements I feel like I'm just answering as a man. There's certain statements that will make me leave for sure. Selfish behaviors and stuff like that. Y'all never had none of those kind of things?
That's a behavior. That's not a statement. If somebody said, I'm gonna knock you upside your head, I'm out.
Yeah, that's a statement.
Or if a woman called me a bitch, like, or call me out of my name, like stuff like that, and then she says, "Oh, I'm sorry. That's just when I lose my temper." I think that one statement is a one all done all. I'm out. I don't need to hear anything else, type of thing. That's just me though, in situations like that.
That is 100%, because when I get into a relationship, I let the person know I'm not going to curse at you and don't curse at me. Because once you curse at me, you've lost all respect for me. There is a way to get your point across without vulgar language, period. So that exit stage left. Anyone else?
To follow up with LaRon's question, I just have a question. Somebody can still answer. Would action also count as like one and done, but they don't follow through? For instance, like if a woman was to flinch at you as if she wanted to hit you, is that the same thing as a statement or a one and done remark that would make somebody say they're done, but she restrained herself? Or he, I wouldn't say he, because that should be a red flag right there. But if a woman was to do something like that, would that be grounds for termination of the relationship?
I just wanted to throw in there though, since you switch it up a little bit and put a little spin on it. We said that this is crazy that this happened. I think it was last night or another night, but one action that would definitely make me say I'm done is not this. Like if you're dating someone and you're around a kid and they don't discipline their kid, that is one action that I'm running. I'm not walking away. I'm running.
So I just got in here. I'm kind of like trying to just grasp the, vibe of the room. But what was the topic? Sorry.
At this point right now, we just had the question. LaRon is basically asking the queens the question of have you ever dated anybody or been with somebody that made a statement and it made you say, hey, that's it, I'm done, I'm not going through this or whatever. I know some of the queens were saying like any kind of violence or violent threats or anything like that was was one of the things that would make them leave. And then Aries just jumped in and said, is there a action that will make it a statement as well that will make you leave? Has there anything like that ever happened to you? But you could answer the question, if a woman ever flinched at you or something, hit you, or has called you the B word or whatever the case may be. Is that grounds for making you say, "Hey, that's it. I'm not even dealing with that." You know what I'm saying? So that's where we at in the conversation right now, King.
Yeah, so I guess I could speak from the current situation I'm actually currently going through. Or I guess you could call it previous, but it was probably like about a month ago that I just decided to cut ties with like my high school sweetheart. Been going out for like more than a decade, so on some rare shit, you know what I mean? We've had our issues over the, you know what I mean, past and things like that, as you would inside of a, that long of a relationship, but it was getting to the point where it was like becoming toxic, you know what I mean? So we met in high school, but during college we kind of like separated. So we were doing the long distance thing for a while. But it's like when you guys finally like, all right, now we're older, let's try to like, you know what I mean? Get a crib together and shit like that. I ended up leaving one time because things didn't work out for certain reasons, and I don't want to, put too much of my business out there, but for whatever the reason, who doesn't matter who's at fault, but we separated the first time. And then the second time, separated again. It started becoming the rat race. You know what I mean? You start realizing, okay, this is like clearly not good for us, but it's like who's willing to just, you know what I mean, end 10 years like that. You feel what I'm saying? 10 plus years. So yeah, I mean, it became a little domestic. And even just looking at that whole Will Smith joint, I'm not trying to end up like that. You feel what I'm saying? Like I know that that's not what I want. So I don't want it to get to points like that. You feel what I'm saying? I like to look at other people's situations and just kind of compare it to mine. So yeah, I've been through that situation.
Appreciate you sharing, TJ. And as we always say, it's a safe space, so you can share and speak your mind as you desire. Anybody else? Is there a one thing that a man or a woman can do that would make you say, I'm done, I'm out? If it's a statement, or for the men, if a woman flinched at you, like she wanted to hit you, but she restrained herself, is that enough for you to say, hey, I'm out? Laurent, we hear you, but we don't hear you.
I'm sorry about that.
No, you're good.
Hold on. Let me just try now. Okay, yeah, sorry about that. So two things. So this is kind of makes me like nowadays kind of makes me a little hesitant to date interracially. You know what I mean? As a black man, like if you call me the N-word or say any racial slur, anything like that in the heat of the moment, obviously we gone, we done. You're out of here. And if a woman is just so I'll tell you a story. I was dating this this woman. We went on like 3 dates, right? And so we're having a discussion about the uprisings. And I'm not a big fan of President Obama at all. I didn't like the way that he handled those things. And I said, well, he called black folks thugs. Like, I don't. That's not okay. And mind you, she's a black woman, and so she just started saying, well, they're tearing up their community. They are thugs and this and that. And so she started getting loud in the car. She's driving erratically and she's loud. And so I was like, because we can have a disagreement, but when you start to get when you're kind of angry and you're loud and when you're driving erratic and when you're kind of potentially putting my life in danger, that's just kind of a no for me. So yeah, man, I had to shake that to the left. So any kind of violence, I mean, because I'm, since this is a safe space, I've been hit before by a woman, and it shocks you because it's like, wow, like I didn't think that I would be in this situation. So moving forward, anytime that I feel that there's any kind of aggression, we're done. So yeah, and ladies, I would advise you to do the same, because a colleague of mine, she once tweeted something I'll never forget. She said, if a man in an argument, if if he slams a door, that's a precursor to something. So just putting that out there. It's LaRon, and I'm done speaking.
Hey, LaRon, definitely. I totally get it. Totally get it. And once again, I'm going through a situation where I'm in a certain situation that's similar to that, but it's more so on the line of like a family issue. But as far as I know that you said interracial dating, are you like totally against it, or are you just more so just hesitant?
Like I'm dating interracially now, but I mean but like the woman that I'm dating, she, you know, she's on a different level. She would never do shit like that. You know what I mean? So, you know, that's, but I mean, you know, we've had that conversation before, and you know, you kind of know the people that, you know, sing the N-word to the songs, people who get a little too familiar with you. So I mean, to me, like that's a no policy. Like, you know, do not pass go, do not collect $200. I just don't play like that. But yeah, man, like bro, any kind of violence, man, even if you feel like she could be coming at you, dog, yo, man, cancel that shit. Cause it's not worth it, my dude. Like, there's way too many women out here that are nice and pleasant and will not even think about putting their hands on them. So just, I mean, it's a total mind fuck, man, because as men, we're not supposed to really go through that. And, you know, you ask yourself, well, you know, I ask myself, I'm like, am I a battered spouse? I mean, you know, we're not married, but just still, like, those things sort of, you know, go through your mind. And, you know, we're taught not to hit back because, you know, we're bigger, we're stronger. So I'm just, yeah, man. I mean, you know, if you want to talk about it, man, like back channel me, and we can definitely chop it up. And that just goes for any guy on the stage.
Yeah, that's a fact. I definitely see where you're coming from. Sure.
Anybody else want to chime in about that one and done type of act of aggression or statement that you might have experienced, or something can be done to make you say you're tapping out of that relationship?
So my question for the men is, if a woman hits you, what are you going to do?
I walk out.
Leave.
That's standard.
That's what I do. I can't speak for every man, but to me, that's the only thing that works without resistance. You know what I'm saying? And even with that, even when you try to leave, you know what I mean? Like, they start texting you where you at. You know what I mean? Like, that's a form of harassment too. I want to clear my head. That shit is fucking crazy. You know what I'm saying? There's some women, they go bat crazy, shitting in the bed type shit. But we'll talk about that too, I'm sure.
You can't be putting your hands on people and expect to not be put, you know, to be hit back. I'm sorry.
That's true, but the thing is that you can't hit a person back when the law is on their side. That's the problem.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm not sure how it is over there, but yeah, you can't be hitting a man and expect to and then cry, "You've hit me," because they've turned around and hit you. How does that work?
Yeah, I'm not too sure where are you at?
In the UK, London.
Got you. I'm in the United States, in New York specifically. So in a state like New York, it's like, you know what I mean? It's very like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like extra.
And I'm not condoning you hit in the person back. I'm not saying that. I don't
Oh
want
no,
to
no, I
misrepresent.
totally understand where you're coming from, but you're right though. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You're
it's
right.
like
An eye for an eye. That's what it's in the
like,
Bible, ain't it?
and some women expect, you know, well, I'm a woman, you can't hit me back. Well, you just put your hand on me.
Yep.
You just
No
hit-
matter
you
how
just-
light or how thin.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter.
you just violated someone. Ultimately, what makes you feel that you can do that? But then, you know.
And I think another thing is that the problem is that people don't know how to give respect first. You get what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people just expect to get away with certain shit. You know what I mean? Like, if everyone just gave respect to each other first and everyone did it first, this shouldn't be an issue.
The only time you can put your hand on me if we're entertaining some freaky stuff.
Oh yeah, you know.
Other than
there's
that, do
no
not attempt
holds
it
barred
because
with
it
that.
won't end well.
That's the pull up after dark. That's the pull up after dark conversation.
There you go,
Well,
Aries. There you
it's
go.
10 to 3 over here in the UK, sweetie.
So we getting
Only
there.
joking.
That's what you're saying, Priscilla. I hear you. I hear you. Definitely, real quick though, want to welcome to the stage TJ. Thank you so much for being transparent and sharing your story with us and your perspective and your experiences. Welcome, Stacy, Shamika, Lucy. We see you down there. You're always welcome to come up or hit us in the back channel or in the private DMs if you have a question, or anybody for that matter. If you want to ask a question that you just don't feel comfortable bringing up yourself. You are in the room Dating for Entrepreneurs. We are having a laid back, kickback room where we're talking about, typically it's men talk, women listen, where the men ask questions and the women give their perspectives and they're sharing. Again, we know that perspective is in fact, it's just that person's experience and the vantage point in which they're looking from. This conversation first started off with a cliffhanger about why do women, or excuse me, why do people, why do people go into a relationship on defense? Where's the offense? If this is something that you want love, why are you not going in it that way? And then we started to talk about the different ways in which you can communicate. And then there's been great questions and great dialogue back and forth to where we even got to, can two entrepreneurs date each other? We're just circling up the last question where it was about statements or one-time actions that were terminable by the relationship because you will not stand for it based off of the standards that you have. In this room, there are moderators, but there are also people that do bring and provide content and value to the conversations. Far be it from just following the moderators, you can also go ahead and follow them as well. These conversations are very prolific and very fruitful because what they do is we allow everybody to have a one mic policy where you land your plane within 60 seconds or less, and we let them land it, take off and land within 60 seconds or less. At the same time, everybody's views, we are not here to necessarily put anybody on the hot seat or try to, pull anybody and try to judge people for how they believe. But far be it from that, you're also welcome to just go ahead, like we said, share, ping some people in. I think we have, about another 10, 15 minutes, Bills? Oh, how long you going with the room?
We got about 9 more minutes.
9 more
So
minutes.
about
9 more
one more
minutes.
question. One more question. The last question, actually. Maybe get one more in, but yeah.
Okay, I got a question, but I just want to turn it over to the other moderators before I ask my question, just to see if anybody else had something, moderators, that you wanted to chime in or say.
I wanted to say, but considering we've only for a short time, I'll leave that. I'll park it. But I wanted to say, how do you guys deal with someone or deal with situations like that? Do you feel comfortable to, report it? I mean, how do you deal with that emotionally as a man being hit by another woman? Obviously with the stigma and everything. But yeah, I'll park that if we've only got 9 minutes.
I think I can hit on that pretty quickly. And I'll keep it brief. Us as men, we just deal with it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not sexy to say that. You get what I'm saying? Like, until now,
Yeah.
though. You get what I'm saying? Because now people are gonna see, damn, I could make 15 million if I'm fucking right. You get what I'm saying? So now we're gonna start seeing more and more of these cases start coming out. We just gotta, the thing about life, in all honesty, and I know I said I'm gonna keep it brief, but this is what happens when I start talking. I'm sorry, but the thing about life is that the nuggets are gonna fall in front of you. Like, the clues are there. You just gotta be paying attention. But a lot of people are asleep. You get what I'm saying? A lot of people are sleepwalking. We just got out of COVID. Like, a lot of people are damaged goods. You know what I mean? So
That's true. A lot of people are damaged goods.
I can tap in. I wasn't hit by a woman. Well, I kind of was, but I wasn't hit by a relationship by a woman. But I was in a relationship with a male, and that was abusive. But what I've learned, whether you male or female, I'm making a paper trail, and yes, I will make a police report, because when I do lose my mind, I need a paper trail to say what happened and why it happened and why he snapped, and that is how we gonna go about that.
I hear that.
I agree with that as well. Paper trail, smart.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much for that quick question, the quick rebuttals, and the perspectives. My last question that I want to ask, and I hope every woman is willing to chime in and answer, because I believe that if every woman had a tool belt, this would be in all of their tool belts. So my question is passive aggression an act of violence or an act of love? Why or why not?
Is that a trick question, Aries?
Yeah, I think that's more than a 6-minute question.
I think it's, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I think it's a very straightforward question because, passive aggression is very intangible, but then at the same time, it's tangible, right? And LaRon
It's aggressive. It's aggressive.
okay, but is it an act of is it an act of violence or is it an act of love? Because that's the answer. That's the question that I really have: is passive aggression an act of violence or an act of love? Why or why not?
I would say an act of violence.
Agree.
A passive aggressive person, they want to be violent, but they rather spin the story.
Yeah, like they try to
Those
like
tend
put
to
the
be
coating on
more
top.
on your sociopath kind of narcissist type of person. They like to gaslight people so that they can be like, hey, I didn't mean it that way. But no, you meant it. You meant it exactly the way you gave it. So that passive aggression, yeah, that's violence.
Definitely. And it doesn't, I mean, I use that when I'm when I want to argue, or I tend to use passive aggressive more than erratic aggression, because I'm a bit more common. But either way, it's violence. If I'm using it, it's because I'm looking to go there, pretty much. Yeah, I might be calm, but it's still, you know, I'm not there to kind of comprehend or come to some form of solution, really, at all.
Well, I don't deal with any of that, but anybody I date, I tell them, Bella, come. Anybody I date, I tell them either you go to therapy. I ask first if they've been through therapy. If they've been through therapy, then we go on to something else. But anybody who I continue to talk to, they have to go to therapy. If they choose not to, then we don't go no further. But you need to go to therapy because that way you can understand what is going on in the relationship and how communication works.
See, I agree with you. The only part that I disagree with you, Sean, about the therapy part and making it a requirement is that I really feel like if you are even interested in a person, like you should know how to like communicate. I feel like people go to therapy to know how to communicate when I don't really necessarily feel like therapy is for that. That makes sense?
Therapy isn't used just for communication. It's used for your mental. That way you don't have to deal with someone mentally abusing you and them not realizing what's going on. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
it's
but
not like, but it's like, I mean, to each his own. I just prefer it. I mean, they don't have to. If they choose not to, then they don't want the relationship either. But again, my first question is, have you been to therapy? And if it's a no, most time I just tell them it ain't gonna work no way.
right. So that
Remember,
part right there is what I was kind of harp on. Like, or is it like if the girl didn't go to therapy, is it like a no or?
Then the conversation goes to, are you going to do therapy? And if you're going to move forward therapy. But I give you like a month to make that decision, a month or two. After that, it's like we're
How
friends.
successful are you when you say that though? You know what I
The
mean?
girlfriend I have now, who has a girlfriend, before she got a girlfriend, she was like questioning, like, I don't understand why people do this, blah, blah, blah. But as we kept going and she went to therapy, she found out what she really liked in life. And now she has a girlfriend. Not saying that I pushed her into a lifestyle, but I made her feel more comfortable to accept what she really liked to do anyway and to be able to express it and not be like, bash it. It's like, this is what you like. Just be honest with it and no one's going to be upset with you, you know?
Copy,
But
gotcha.
therapy helped her understand it better, and that's what created our understanding with each other better. Like she knows, even with me out saying anything, she goes, "You need time to talk, don't you?" I said, "How?" We'll look at each other like how people ask us. Like we'll do our date night things on my Facebook post, and folks still ask, "How do y'all communicate without seeing each other so much?" But therapy really helps because then you understand each other better, more than just I need, and you're not paying attention. It goes to I need this, but I also know you need something else, and I also understand that we kind of have to do this together, you know.
and there's nothing wrong with a bit of aggression every now and again.
What?
We're not living in lollipops and goddamn rainbows, though. I mean, do you understand what I'm saying?
Aggression is good.
Yo.
Yeah,
Just don't be
sometimes I like to be
abusive with it,
told
you
to,
know?
to
Don't be
sit
over
down
the
and be
top.
quiet.
Be sexual with it.
It's a natural thing, actually.
Come on,
you know
come
what
on,
I
come
mean? And I feel like we kind of shun down upon it.
Exactly.
All right, with
There's
that
a
being
place for it.
said, I didn't want to have to do it, but it's coming to a dead stop. Shout out to
Wait, he wanted to join
the
me.
alarm has been
No.
rang. Y'all make sure y'all here every Tuesday and Wednesday night. It is the end of the session. We are gonna have a little nightcap room over in the pull up after the moderators get together for a 5 minutes briefing, and then we'll open right back up and members only actually. So only the clubhouse residents and members, and you know that's how we do. We're just gonna do a little nightcap. So with that being said, I am Pilar, represent a premium streetwear brand with my own modern unique designs, and the mission for my brand is to highlight pillars of the community and positive influences. I thank y'all. So I appreciate y'all for sharing the space. The one thing I would like to ask before I pass it over to the moderators and we close the room is that we are going to be operating out of the Dating for Entrepreneurs Clubhouse a lot more every Tuesday and Wednesday night from 8 to 10 o'clock. So please go to YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube. You can actually watch the episode. Go to the Facebook, follow the Facebook, go to the Instagram, follow the new Instagram page, and tap in. So with that being said, Priscilla, Aries, Coco.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us for great conversation, and we'll see you again soon.
Have a good one, y'all. Have a good night.
Have a good one, guys.
Definitely. Like I said, we're gonna open up the pull up in about 10 minutes. So yeah, I could tap back in. We're just gonna have our nightly briefing as we do, and then we'll tap right back into a members only room and we could continue conversation. So with that being said, peace, love, and soul to everyone on the stream.